please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi, welcome back to Business Lunch on CNBC TV 18. Still looking pretty good for the market, although it has come off a bit from the high point. No two ways about that. A couple of stocks in the real estate space are spiking up now. Oberoi Realty, I beg your pardon, is up almost about 7% or so. Ashoka Buildcon is the other one that's up almost about 6.5%. But talking about the real estate space, a large realty deal is close to being announced. We told you earlier that Blackstone is looking to invest in Indiabulls Real Estate. We get you the latest on this transaction, which is now close to being sealed. Nisha gets us all the exclusive details. Nisha, about to close this one?
That's right, Sonia. We are hearing from our sources with direct knowledge that they could be really putting final touches to this particular transaction. They want to close it by before the end of this financial year. At least that's the plan at their end. What we're talking about here is a large transaction. Blackstone is looking to buy about 50% stake in the rental business of Indiabulls Real Estate, and that could be at a cash outgo of about $300 million. Now, that's not all, because Blackstone is also going to take over a large part of the $650 million of total debt that is on the books of the rental business of Indiabulls Real Estate. So net, the enterprise valuation of this particular vertical and the business segment that Blackstone would be investing in would be about close to $1.3 billion. Now, remember here, that debt reduction is going to be one key use for the proceeds of this large transaction. Indiabulls Real Estate has about $1.5 billion of debt, and also remember that their market cap is close to about $1.4 billion. So debt reduction has been on top of their mind. So this particular transaction is likely to give them a huge amount of cash for doing that as well. So it's very close to really being announced, is what we gather from sources with direct knowledge. Remember, it will be a 50-50 joint venture between Blackstone and Indiabulls Real Estate for the rental business of the company.
Okay, in fact, a lot of PE players now interested in various rental assets across the real estate space, so that definitely is picking up.
Oh yes, and hopefully the REITs would also kickstart over here. I think they're readying themselves, and Blackstone, remember, has done a lot of REITs overseas, so they are a master in this. So if that plan is really in place, I wouldn't be surprised to post this transaction also later whenever REITs pick up. But let's take it straight to more IBC cases, and huge amount of development in a lot of them, and it's a big update coming in SR Steel case, and NCLT Ahmedabad hears new metal plea with respect to the SR Steel bid, and the committee of creditors meet to decide the rebids for SR Steel, and that one is underway right now. Ritu Singh joins us with the latest and the exclusive details on that. Tell us, Ritu.
Well, that's right. Even as the committee of creditors meeting is, scheduled today, which is currently underway to decide rebids for the company altogether, there's a new twist in the case where one of the two bidders that had originally submitted a plan for SR Steel on the 12th of February, that is New Metal, has moved the Ahmedabad NCLT to reinforce its eligibility to bid for SR Steel. Now, remember, there was a consensus with the resolution professional and the bankers that both the bids were ineligible as on the 12th of February, on the date that they were submitted, and therefore banks were meeting today again to consider if they would invite bids from all of the 8 players that had submitted expressions of interest initially to acquire SR Steel. Now, these include Vedanta, Tata Steel, JSW, ArcelorMittal, all of these players included. But in the midst of that, NCLT had moved New Metal had moved NCLT, stating that a full facts of its eligibility were not considered properly by the resolution professional, and therefore it placed all of the facts before the court to ensure that an objective criteria is set out and its bid is considered objectively by the court. In the ruling, NCLT has stated, and this is very important, that prima facie its objective was not to stall the COC proceedings set to take place today, nor was it to prevent them from passing any resolution plan, but it has said any outcome of the meeting today has to be subject to the final order by the court in the New Metal matter. This, of course, as I said, the meeting is currently underway. Any resolution professional plan now passed will have to go through finally what the NCLT says in this New Metal order.
And it's also very, very pertinent to note here that New Metal is a combination, or SPV, floated by Revant Ruya of the Ruya family, and VTB, which is a Russian lender, and that's why that that was the main point of contention here, Sonia.
Okay, well, that's important. By the way, the market is slipping now, so do keep an eye out on some stocks. PC Jewelers has just taken a big knock in the last 5-10 minutes, and all your Jaypee Group stocks, Jaypee Associates, Jaypee Infra are all under quite a bit of pressure. Look at that sudden fall off a cliff in those names. But on to another CNBC TV 18 exclusive. We learned from a government official that prima facie, the UltraTech bid is a serious concern with regards to the IBC law. Sapna Das joins in with more details on that. Sapna.
This is a view that is coming in from the top quarters in the government. Senior officials seem to be indicating that the way the UltraTech cement bid has come in, this may prove to be a serious concern for the IBC process. Basically it questions the sanctity of the insolvency and the bankruptcy court. Also, bids like the UltraTech cement, because you never know, this may not be the be-all and the end-all. There could be other players in the market who may follow this kind of a precedent, and if at all a precedent is set, well, so that may possibly, push the resolution timeline forward. Also, the other aspect of the concern that has been raised is the fact that the way the private arrangement was done between the defaulting promoter Binani and, of course, UltraTech Cement. So this is a view that is coming from the highest quarters in the government. Now, what this really means in terms of whether there will be any movement going forward, well, probably that's going to be a call completely of the NCLT. Very unlikely that the government will officially like to indicate its view on this matter, but nonetheless there is a bit of a discomfort in the top government quarters, despite the fact that the price of the bid has been higher, and that also is an important aspect that has to be kept in mind in the resolution process. So we have to wait and watch and see what really happens on this front. Also, parallelly, would the government be interested in tweaking certain rules under the IBC, going forward? A bit of a question mark on that. Wait and watch and see what really happens on the policy space. But practically speaking, it will be NCLT that may have to take a call on the matter.
Oh yes, Sapna, in fact the courts will have to decide this, but this will also set a precedent for the rest of the IBC cases. Moving on to an update in the Jaypee case as well, and Supreme Court rejects and directs the Jaypee Associates to deposit 200 crore rupees by May 10th, and deposited funds are to be used for disbursements amongst the home buyers. Let's get an Ashmit Kumar on the phone line with more details on that. Ashmit, you were in the courtroom. What all does this entail, and how will it really impact the home buyers?
Well, as far as home buyers are concerned, the Apex Court making its position very clear that it is currently rooting for them, that it will not take on board the concerns of lenders at this stage. It will only discuss that much later. For now, Supreme Court's eyes are set squarely on recovering the money, and towards that end, they've directed Jaypee Associates, which, mind you, is the parent of Jaypee InfraTech, have directed Jaypee Associates to submit 200 crore rupees as of May 10th. What's also important is that the Supreme Court has clarified that these funds will be used for disbursement on a pro rata basis to all those who have sought refunds. Having said that, some important issues that also need to be clarified here. What's interesting is that the Council for Home Buyers, as well as the IRP in this case, have clarified that as far as JIL is concerned and as far as the IBC proceedings are concerned, they have received bids from Adani as well as Sajjan Jindal. Also importantly, Jaypee Associates will be pressing the Supreme Court to be allowed to seek permission to allow their bid to be considered for JIL. Mind you, an amendment has come in which bars promoters from filing bids for companies under insolvency. The next hearing in this case, we understand, will take place on April 16th. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Ashmit. We'll take a break on that note, but lots more focus on the markets, on stocks and all the action when we return. Stay with us.
Now remember, Indigo's third grounded NEO is back in operations, and remember that DGCA grounded Indigo's 11 A320 NEOs fitted with specific P&W engines, and this is a new development coming in. Ashpreet Sethi joins us with exclusive details on that. Tell us, Ashpreet.
Well, yes, what we pick up from sources right now is that the third grounded A320 NEO has gone into operations. In fact, it had become operational last night itself. Remember, yesterday we reported how 2 A320 neos have already become operational, which means that now Indigo has about 7 A320 neos which have been grounded. Now remember, Pratt & Whitney has assured Indigo that within 40 days they will be giving new engines so that all these grounded aircraft can fly again. Now what we pick up from sources as far as on the other side of the story is concerned, remember, a lot of people have been raising questions as to why DGCA did not take action earlier. On that, sources tell us that DGCA has taken a precautionary measure by going ahead and grounding 11 A320 neos that are owned by Indigo and Go Air. But as far as the whole saga of whether slots will be cancelled that Indigo has or not, there also DGCA sources tell us that there will be no cancellation of slots. In fact, they will be going ahead and getting some information from Indigo as to how they are using these slots. In fact, sources tell us that Indigo has told DGCA that they are trying to utilize the slots in as efficient manner as possible, but we'll have to wait and see what happens next, because remember, a review is scheduled where DGCA will take up these matters again.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Ashpreet. Moving on to a CNBC TV 18 exclusive. We understand from sources that the Modi Care program, the Ayushman Bharat scheme, is likely to be taken up for the cabinet nod today itself. Timsi Jaypee joins in to give us more details on all of that. Timsi?
As you rightly said, the Modi Care scheme, Ayushman Bharat scheme, is going to come up for a cabinet approval today itself in the evening when cabinet meets. What I understand from sources right now is that about 1,366 healthcare schemes will be included in the Ayushman Bharat scheme. These schemes are recommended by the DGHS, and they're saying very clearly that this would cover a lot, maximum of the healthcare ailments which will be under this mega health insurance scheme. Also, what I pick up from sources is that states have agreed to the 60-40 financing ratio, and for the special states such as Northeastern region, etc., the financing model could be 90-10 ratio. Let's see what actually gets approved by the cabinet in the evening. I'll keep you posted on it, but yes, Ayushman Bharat to be a reality soon.
All right, thanks for that, Timsi. In fact, earlier this month, we also spoke to the architect of Modi Care, Dinesh Arora of Niti Aayog, and he had revealed that cabinet note to implement the scheme will be ready soon. Take a look.
We are working on it, on track, discussing, deliberating before we roll out the design of the scheme.
Okay. By when can we expect the design of the scheme to be rolled out?
Very soon.
Give me a timeline. Very soon could mean anything. It could mean tomorrow, it could mean a few weeks, it could mean a few months.
Once the cabinet note gets approved, have the design of the scheme ready.
Okay. And where are we in terms of getting the cabinet note ready?
Very soon, as early as in this month, I can say that.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, let's get back to the market. Just before we wind down, let's tell you how it's been so far. It's been a good day, no two ways about that. Yes, we've come off from the top for sure, but we're still holding on to gains. This market is still a sell-on rally. You're making money there, so that's what, that intraday move shows you. But in terms of key stocks, cement stocks are looking good. UltraTech Cement is still gaining with an up move of around 2.5%, and a couple of these names from the heavyweights, the likes of HDFC and Axis Bank, are not too bad. But from Nisha, myself and the entire team, thanks so much for watching. Mid-Cap Radar comes up next.